I'm a student. I go to school at Illinois State University, along with some of the other interns here. And my freshman year of college, I was living in Watterson Towers. It was my home away from home. I had an awesome roommate, Shelby Brand, who's mad at me for calling her out now. And one day I was sitting in my dorm studying, which really means that I was on Facebook about what I should be studying for. And all of a sudden, Facebook starts to kind of blow up with, "Oh my God, I can't believe it. Hug your loved ones." And I start to hear sirens. And I look out the window, and there's a woman in the parking lot. She was surrounded by corpsmen and policemen, and she had jumped from the scaffolding. And a lot of the responses were very positive, sending love to the family. And some of them, surprisingly, were not. They were saying things like, "She was home, how dare she? How dare she come home to do that?" So in response to that, I did what any good poet would do and say, "I'm going to write about this." So this is Scaffolding, dedicated to the woman who made heaven her home. Somewhere in San Francisco, a woman tucks her 3-year-old into bed, hoping that for once she will sleep soundly through the night. In New York, a little boy hits his first home run without his father. In Florida, a prom queen comes home to a silence, and in Illinois, a 45-year-old woman jumps from a scaffold. Every person has a story. So what story or voice told this woman to plummet from a building? It's the same that tells you to smoke one more cigarette and drink one more beer. That voice that says, "No, you are just not good enough." It's the same that drove Van Gogh to a gunshot and Judy Garland to drugs, but how much farther they could have gone. Who's to say that this woman wasn't an artist, ready to paint her next masterpiece or finish her first film, or maybe she was a doctor, running from the patients that she was unable to save. Maybe she was a medical engineer and she was on the verge of curing some incurable disease, or maybe she was a firefighter, or a lawyer, or a chemist, or an architect. Maybe she was a mother who fell in love with a man who worked at a hospital. She called him King, and he called her Miracle. King told her once that her smile would make the rain disappear. They married at 22, but she's a girl. She had her wedding plans when she was 14. She lived in a red brick house with a white picket fence and a brown dog named Hershey. Miracle and King lived for years until the daughter they called Stardust moved out of the house and went to school to live in Watterson Towers. Maybe Miracle was a construction worker there, but if she was, she would have known. Scaffolding is meant for support. It's meant to hold things together, not tear them apart. We may not know her story, but not knowing is no reason to call her death a selfish distraction or a joke. Some demons are fought for days, some for months, some for years, and sometimes the demons win. Maybe King was right to name her Miracle. Maybe King called her Miracle so people would look at the things that he and his love achieved and have nothing more to say. So somewhere in San Francisco, a 3-year-old is sleeping soundly. In New York, a father holds his son's hand. In Florida, 2 parents kiss in front of their daughter. And in Illinois, someone learned that life can give you nothing else but miracles.